beautiful day. We are going into the weekend, and so I hope that you're putting in all of your energies for the day to ensure that you close the week on a beautiful note. But today we examine two national conversations: the government's mid-year budget review and the debate that's surrounding the sentencing of the Ashanti Regional Chair of the NPP, Bernard Nchubuisiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, will bring you the day's top headlines that shape Ghana and beyond. All that is important. Yesterday, a lot of us were looking forward to the mid-year budget review to know what would be contained in that and the debate that would surround it. Ahead of it, we had conversations. We spoke with the ranking member on the Economy and Finance and Development Committee, Kojo Ponkruma, who gave us what the minority were expecting government to do now that we have hit mid-year in our budgetary allocation. Following the reading of the mid-year budget by the finance minister, the minority spoke again. We'll look at all of that, and if the minority are now okay with what the government has for us for the rest of the year. There's still debate ongoing about Chairman Wontumi. Yesterday was budget day. However, the minority leader, Fenyo Markin, took the opportunity to talk about Chairman Wontumi, why it's his name coming in here when we are talking about budget. Well, we'll listen to the minority leader to appreciate where the minority stands on these matters so far. Thank you for joining us here on the show. We'll bring you the newspaper headlines, we'll bring you conversations that matter, and then we'll listen to you too. And so get interacting with us via socials at ABC News GH_. You can join us live Facebook and YouTube at ABC News GH, and our website is www.abcnewsgh.com. We're going to have a very great conversation here today on the show, and so please come along with me and let's have a good one. If you're on your way to work, I wish you a safe journey to work. If you're already at work, I wish you the very best of the day. As you close the week, close it strong, okay? Please do well to close it strong. Thank you to the production and the technical team for putting together today's ABC in the morning. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we begin with the newspaper headlines. Beg your pardon, let me bring you the quote of the day. A government's promises are measured by results, and justice earns trust only when it is seen to be fair. This is an anonymous quote. A government's promises are measured by results, and justice earns trust only when it is seen to be fair. This is something for us to ponder about, to think about, and well, chart our day with. A government's promises are measured by results. So I want to see the tangibilities so that we can really and very much trust government even better as we move on in nation building. This quote of the day. Now we'll take a quick break. When we return, I'll bring you the newspaper headlines here on ABC in the morning. Do stay.
Things never change. Trends come and go, but in your cooking, you still choose a tomato mix you trust. Because real quality never changes. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
Playing for your country, any easy. Scoring, any easy. Winning, any easy. You know what be easy now? Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Aye, easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kibo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Greater Works 2026. Speaking, Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo, Bishop Tudor Bismarck, Bishop Mike Okonko, Pastor Paul Adefarasin, and our conference host, Pastor Mensa Otabil. Date, Monday the 3rd of August to Friday the 7th of August 2026. Morning sessions, Tuesday to Friday. Time, 9 a.m. Evening sessions, Monday to Friday. Time, 5 p.m. each night. Venue, ICGC Christ Temple East. Special song ministrations by Joe Metal, Once More 6, Nathaniel Bassi, Dunsin Oyekan. For more details, visit gwcentral.org. Greater Works 2026. It's coming down.
Some things never change. The meals we grew up loving, the taste that brings everyone together. Through every pot and every recipe, Gino remains the tomato mix you trust. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
The culture never chills, and neither do we. Viral moments, breaking stories, new drops, exclusive interviews, spotlight artists shaping the sound right now, and our African Star of the Week taking over timelines. Then it's straight to the top 10, the songs running the streets, owning your playlist and living rent-free in your head. No skips, just hits, pure vibes. This is the Rundown, your ultimate destination for everything entertainment.
Baby, we are second. So you remember tumpon ne gina advert. Na se why say obey advert mo dwuma tumpon na kwara nim dia.
Do you need a media house to shoot quality TV ad for your company or products? Bring your company's vision to life.
Any me kan for media house we am Potential Films. So adwuma sa, so adwuma so, don't worry. So open to adwuma tumpon e cost you through advert dia contact wo.
We help businesses build their brands.
Ukraine omodwuma hote, omo quality camera so many twa.
Reach their target audience and ultimately drive sales and revenue growth.
Omodwuma bi ni o. Omodwuma is perfect. O contact no be good script about your product. Sound, jet. They will give you quality pictures. How do you see it? How do you feel it? Wow. So put your young on Makasa. Fresh number way 0541 16 28 28. I'm repeating 0541 16 28 28. Call them. Number one,
Potential Films. We believe in quality.
You're still watching ABC in the morning live here on ABC News GH. Let's turn our attention to the newspapers. We begin with the Ghanaian Times, boldly on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. Mid-year budget, new buses, roads, energy gains to drive growth. And this is Finance Minister Dr. Kasiel Ato-Forson, who's telling us Minority describes mid-year budget as uninspiring. Accompanying it is a picture of the Minority leader. We want to rush to Eurobond market, Finance Minister says, and government scraps 20% excise duty on local fruit juices. The Beverages Association, how are they feeling about this? Okay, and finally, well, some more stories on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. Suspected narcotic drugs concealed in fertilizer sacks intercepted, and 2 have been arrested for that. And Atamil's commemorative lecture, Fund Universities Properly or Risk Ghana's Future, Professor Frimpong Boateng says. Let's move away from the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Daily Guide, no additional budget for 2026 as government targets more revenue. All right, Minority Jobs NDC over fiscal surplus. And away from the budget on the buffer stock trial, court directs Attorney General to amend charges, and Baumia Ashanti NPP executives meet over wound to me. Okay, these are the stories on the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper. Daily Graphic Half-year performance best in years, revenue on track, spending down, zero arrears, and interest drops. This is Finance Minister telling us. Minority skeptical about economic gains. Why are they skeptical? Maybe we would have to hear from the minority to appreciate their skepticism on this matter. Government deposits $1.7 billion for Accra-Kumasi Expressway. Funds protected until main contract awarded. Okay, economy on sound recovery path. The minister says so. Goldfields wishes Black Queen success in the Women's Africa Cup. We are really wishing the Black Queen success. Go and bring the ultimate, our queens. We trust and believe in you. Let's move away from the Daily Graphic newspaper. This is the Daily Gist. Mid-year budget review. Minority says it's empty. It's surgery. Ato Forsen says so. Okay. NDC suspends cast. What chairman for having sex with MP? Oh, really? Okay. I want to read some more. This is okay. Baumia storms Kumasi to cool NPP members over want to me jailing. All right, let's move away from the Daily Gist. The Informer newspaper, NLA Fidelity Bank partner to modernize lotto payment, raise instant win ceiling to 30,000 Ghana cedis. Oh, is that so? All right, and this is on Ghana's reserve. Kojo upon Chroma demands whereabouts of $1.2 billion US. ECOWAS prioritizes peace and security. Counter-terrorism brigade set for 2027 as bloc renews Baba Kamare's mandate. There are some more stories on the front page of the Informer. You should grab a copy and read. Let's move on to other stories. The new weekend crusading guide on the mid-year budget. Tough times for ministers. Ahwenyu Markin says so. Is it? All right. And court directs amendment of fraud charges. This is with regard to the buffer stock trial. Adras Safo spends 3.7 million Ghana cedis on Kantanka funeral preparations. Her lawyers are, lawyers are saying so. Whether it's her lawyers or from the other side, we don't know now. MP's quiz competition produces 20 Cuba-trained medical doctors for Ghana. Congratulations to these medical doctors. These are the stories on the front page of the new weekend crusading guide. The Chronicle newspaper, Ato's revenue target was deliberately understated. Kojo Oponkroma says so. And $1.7 billion US ready for Accra Kumasi Expressway. Ato Forsen is telling us, yes, we need the expressway to be completed. It will be for our good, won't it? Okay. These are the stories on the front page of the Chronicle newspaper. Discover, NDC promised jobs but delivered unemployment. Minority caucus says so. You can arrest our members, but you cannot arrest our resolve. NPP is saying so. And Dagbon chiefs notified Dr. Baumia of Yana's death. DVLA to roll out new number plates in less than a month. And finally, Professor Botman tears apart government's spending narrative. And this is the news center. Government bans Ghana card photocopying from November 2. An auditor general orders NPA to refund $2.6 million paid to NTL. Government cuts expenditure by 35.6 billion Ghana cedis in first half of 2026. A sign of fiscal distress, slowing economic activity. And also on the front page of the news center, mid-year budget review fails Ghanaians. The minority says so. Sinking fund accumulates 15.6 billion Ghana cedis. Dr. Kasiel Ato Forsen. The Supreme newspaper, Mid-Year Fiscal Review in full, is full of English with empty promises. Avenue Markin says, so another prayer takes continental fight against cancer to new level. Okay. Also on the front page of the Supreme newspaper, Joseph's lawyers reveal 3.7 million Ghana cedis spent on Kantanke's funeral arrangements, and KPCE demo JHS Isiakwa RC Primary crowned champions of 2026 science and math. I'm unable to see everything there, but congratulations to the schools. Big congratulations. And in Ada Kodbo and Stool's first youth queen mother. All right. Some more stories coming to us. Economic recovery is real. Latuforson tells Parliament Ghana's per capita income jumps to $3,385 US. Minority slums mid-year review. Okay. More stories. DVLA commissions Domain Ultra Center. And CD appreciated by 40.7% against US dollar in 2025. WDB Ghana Limited Incorporated starts operation. Okay. All right. Congratulations to you. All the best to you and your operations. Let's move away to some more stories. This is Bono and Ahafo Echo. Let's see what's happening in the Bono and Ahafo regions. In the Bono region included JHS students in school feeding program. Brekum West Assemblyman says so. In the Bono East region, Techiman Development Association tours government project sites to ensure value for money. And in the Ahafo region, the Sunafo North Assembly supports MIM SHS after girls' dormitory fire. And in the Bono East region, Techiman MCE pledges 12-unit classroom block for Zongo LA Primary School. Finally, from the Ahafo region, in their regional elections, NPP to sanction aspirants who campaign with insults. All right, these are the stories from Bono and Ahafo Echo. Ghana is working again. Majority hails Satoforsen after mid-year budget. Please release Wontumi and all political prisoners now. After marking two governments, Kwabena in Qatar, residents embark on communal labor to repair 2-year-old damaged road. Okay, these are the stories. And the Punch newspaper, Chief Akroka unveils bold agenda for Western North NPP Secretariat to raise. All the best to you. Tano South MC inspects site for permanent Bichim. Okay, I'm unable to see the rest, but well, all the best on that. And finally, on opendification fight, Ofericom MCE seeks urgent support. At this point, we shouldn't see any form of opendification, please. We beg you. That is why the laws must also be enforced. People should not be too comfortable defecating anywhere. Oh, this is quite sad. Well, if the MC is seeking support, I hope he receives all the support to help him win this fight against open defecation. And these will be all the stories on the front pages of the various newspapers. You should grab a copy and read them as we get into the weekend. We'll take a break. When we return, now I'll take you to Parliament. We'll see all that transpired in Parliament. After the break, just stay.
Things never change. Trends come and go, but in your cooking, you still choose a tomato mix you trust. Because real quality never changes. Thick, red, rich. Chino truly cares.
This advert is FDA approved.
Playing for your country, enye easy. Scoring, enye easy. Winning, enye easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Aye easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted groundnuts. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
The culture never chills, and neither do we. Viral moments, breaking stories, new drops, exclusive interviews, spotlight artists shaping the sound right now, and our African Star of the Week taking over timelines. Then it's straight to the top 10, the songs running the streets, owning your playlist and living rent-free in your head. No skips, just hits, pure vibes. This is the Rundown, your ultimate destination for everything entertainment.
Greater Works 2026. Speaking, Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo, Bishop Tudor Bismarck, Bishop Mike Okonkwo, Pastor Paul Adefarasin, and our conference host, Pastor Mensa Otabil. Date, Monday the 3rd of August to Friday the 7th of August 2026. Morning sessions, Tuesday to Friday. Time, 9 a.m. Evening sessions, Monday to Friday. Time, 5 p.m. each night. Venue, ICGC Christ Temple East. Special song ministrations by Joe Metal, Once More 6, Nathaniel Bassi, Dunsin Oyekan. For more details, visit gwcentral.org. Greater Works 2026. It's coming down. Works 2026. Speaking, Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo, Bishop Tudor Bismarck, Bishop Mike Okonkwo, Pastor Paul Adefarasin, and our conference host, Pastor Mensa Otabil. Date, Monday the 3rd of August to Friday the 7th of August 2026. Morning sessions, Tuesday to Friday. Time, 9 a.m. Evening sessions, Monday to Friday. Time, 5 p.m. each night. Venue, ICGC Christ Temple East. Special song ministrations by Joe Metal, Once More 6, Nathaniel Bassi, Dunsin Oyekan. For more details, visit gwcentral.org. Greater Works 2026. It's coming down.
Welcome back. You're still watching ABC in the Morning live here on ABC News GH. Dr. Kasel Atoforsin, the Finance Minister, has presented the mid-year budget review to Parliament. And it was a very interesting time in Parliament. After he spoke, both minority and majority had a go at each other with regards to the budget. Well, let me take you to Parliament so that we can refresh our memories on what happened or what transpired yesterday during the mid-year budget review.
Tax revenue increased by 0.5% of GDP, from 12.6% of GDP in 2024 to 13.1% of GDP in 2025. Mr. Speaker, simple put, government collected more taxes in 2025 even after abolishing the nuisance taxes, including the e-levy. Right, Honorable Speaker, the lesson here is simple. Better policy, stronger compliance, and smarter administration will always deliver more sustainable revenue than higher taxes. Mr. Speaker, the third key transformational policy reform was the introduction of a complementary fiscal policy to support inflation targeting, ensuring exchange rate stability, and building external resilience. Central to this reform was the establishment of the Ghana Gold Board to curb gold smuggling, formalize the gold trade, and ensure that a greater share of Ghana's mineral wealth benefits the Ghanaian people. Through this intervention, Ghana generated an additional 15 billion United States dollars in foreign exchange inflows from gold, significantly strengthening reserve accumulation and supporting exchange rate stability. This single policy measure improved Ghana's current account balance by 6.4 percentage points from a surplus of 1.9% in 2024 to 8.3% in 2025. Mr. Speaker, this represents a 4 times increment of the current account surplus in just 1 calendar year. Mr. Speaker, this was not simply a gold policy. This was a macroeconomic stabilization policy designed to strengthen the city, build external buffers, and restore confidence in the Ghanaian economy. To reinforce these gains, government developed and is implementing the Ghana Accelerated National Reserve Accumulation Policy, GANRAP, with the objective of increasing Ghana's international reserve to the equivalent of 15 months of import cover by end of 2028. In a landmark initiative, Mr. Speaker, government has also reached agreement with large-scale mining companies to purchase 30% of their annual gold production for refining by local refineries, strengthening domestic value addition and supporting reserve accumulation. Government further amended the Bank of Ghana Act to make inflation targeting a shared responsibility between the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana, ensuring stronger coordination between fiscal and monetary authorities. Mr. Speaker, economic reforms must ultimately be judged by their outcomes. I now turn to the evidence of what these key transformational policy reforms have delivered for the people of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, the results of the last 8 months demonstrate that disciplined policies, competent economic management, and consistent implementation delivers tangible results. Real GDP growth grew by 6.0% in 2025, the fastest pace of economic expansion since 2019. Instructively, Mr. Speaker, non-oil GDP grew by 7.6% in 2025, the highest rate in 14 years, demonstrating that Ghana's recovery extends well beyond favorable commodity prices. Mr. Speaker, the momentum has continued into 2026. Real GDP growth reached 6.4% in the first half, exceeding expectations. Mr. Speaker, for the first time in our nation's history, the size of Ghana's economy exceeded $100 billion, firmly establishing Ghana as a major emerging market economy. Ghana's per capita income increased by more than $850 in just 1 year. Mr. Speaker, rising from $2,527 in 2024 to $3,385 at the end of 2025. This is the highest per capita income ever recorded in our country's history. It is therefore not surprising that Ghana is now recognized as the 8th largest economy in Africa. Mr. Speaker, these are not mere statistics. They represent higher incomes, stronger businesses, greater opportunities, and an economy with an enhanced capacity to invest in its people. The labor market is also improving. Unemployment rate declined from 13.7% during the first 3 quarters of 2024 to 12.8% over the same period in 2025. Multidimensional poverty, which measures deprivation across living conditions, education, health, and employment declined from 24.9% in Q3 of 2024 to 21.9% in Q3 of 2025. Mr. Speaker, this simply means that about 950,000 Ghanaians moved out of the multidimensional poverty in just 1 year. Mr. Speaker, behind these statistics are the hundreds of thousands of families who now enjoy better living conditions and greater hope for the future. Right, Honorable Speaker, inflation perhaps tells the clearest story of all. Inflation declined from 23.8% in December 2024 to 5.4% at the end of 2025 and remained low at 5.3% in June 2026. Fiscal performance has also exceeded expectations. The primary balance on commitment basis recorded a surplus of 2.5% of GDP as at the end of 2025. By end of June 2026, we had achieved a primary surplus of 0.9% of GDP on commitment basis. We are firmly on track to achieve our end year target of 1.5% of GDP. Mr. Speaker, prudent fiscal management has also translated into a rapid decline in Ghana's public debt. The debt to GDP ratio fell from 61.8% of GDP, 61.8% at the end of 2024 to 44.7% at the end of 2025 and reached 45% by end of June 2026. Mr. Speaker, Ghana has therefore already achieved its statutory debt target of 45% of GDP, years ahead of both IMF program timeline and the targeted date established under the Public Financial Management Act. Mr. Speaker, debt service is also consuming a far smaller share of government revenue. Debt service as a share of domestic revenue declined sharply from 55.7% in 2022 to 28.8% in 2025, freeing up billions of cedis for schools, hospitals, roads, and other national priorities. Mr. Speaker, for the first time since April 2014, Ghana's external and overall risk of debt distress has improved from high to moderate. Even more significantly, the joint World Bank IMF debt sustainability analysis has moved Ghana from unsustainable in 2023 to sustainable in 2025, and now for the first time ever to sustainable with room to absorb shocks.
Honorable Minister, please, First Deputy Speaker to take the chair.
Has just told this House that the true character of a finance minister is not determined by how much he spends. Such a statement must cause palpitation among ministers of state. Mr. Speaker, basically what he is telling all ministers that he is not going to spend, he is not going to release funds to you. Mr. Speaker, already you are suffering and you've been redundant in your various ministries. His deputy minister told the nation that 1.6 was released to the Agri minister. Today, he says only 1.1 billion. You see, the true measure of a finance minister is not how much he spends. Mr. Speaker, throughout his review, there was no policy announcement for the cocoa sector. The 4 million farmers, the 4 million cocoa farmers are suffering. This finance minister since he took over as a supervising minister responsible for cocoa, we have seen suffering and wailing. And he comes here, Mr. Speaker, he talks about determining the true cost of economic policy. The true cost. He's talking about having met some debt. What he has forgotten, that he refused good counsel from the minority. When Gold Board and Bank of Ghana charges on the gold for reserve policy was at 15%, we cautioned. He didn't listen. Later, IMF forced them to reduce it to 9%. 3 days ago, announced that he was no more going to participate in this gold for reserve. It's too late in the day. You've already incurred losses of 9.6 billion. That is what the IMF told you. And you come here, you're saying prudent management of the economy. Really? Mr. Speaker, this review is full of English with empty payment. The payment, he said, is done. He said they've done some payment. Why didn't he give us details? You paid your party members. You paid your party members. The monies have gone to your party members. And Mr. Speaker, the Nkukor has now become protein.
Honourable members, I insist we listen to each other in silence.
The Nkukor has become protein for your party executives. They are all cooking akukon kwai. It is now akukon kwai. Mr. Speaker, I want the minister to walk the talk. If you come here and you say 24-hour market, 24-hour market at 42 million cities, and you've abandoned the Agenda 111. The hospitals, that should be your priority. You are not constructing the hospitals. Then you are spending a whooping sum of 42 million, and you say you've released 80% to the assemblies. Meanwhile, you are using the assemblies their own allocation to pay for the 24-hour economy. When there are no hospitals, how do you say you are the market? Mr. Speaker, review is uninspiring. There is no inspiration. What we are experiencing in this country is persecution, persecution, persecution. For the first time, we are seeing political imprisonment. One to me is a political prisoner. Mr. Speaker, Camilla Al-Hassan, a young mother of 3, is also a political prisoner, telling you how intolerant you are. You are telling us you are running an economy. You want this to be a one-sided parliament. When people criticize you, you threaten them. A lot of my MPs here have been threatening members of parliament with prosecution. Let me say warning to the Attorney General that the ravening clouds shall no longer be victorious. They shall not long possess the sky. Be careful. 2028, you'll be in opposition. 2028. If you are not careful, Mr. Speaker, stop now. You go and meet one to me there. We will be out and you will go in. So I'm advising you, let us all be measured. We welcome the reforms by the finance minister, and for the first time he did something patriotic by acknowledging the digitalization reforms we introduced in government payment. Today he has acknowledged it. Mr. Speaker, we commend you for acknowledging MPP. We commend you, but you can do better. Tell your government to free all political prisoners. Tell your government to free all political prisoners. One to me deserve justice. Camilla Al-Hassan, the MPs behind me, that you have lined them up for. You can decide to imprison every MP. Shut us down. We'll criticize you. We will hold your feet to account and we'll make sure you account for every city you spend. But you know what? The good news is that you are on your way to opposition. You are on your way to opposition. So you should begin thinking. You should begin thinking deep. Because there is one cells, is one prison will not be locked up. It will open widely for you. It will swallow many of you. From what we are seeing in public procurement, your situation will be worse. So be careful, those of you who are comfortable. And finally, you claim you want a third term. Third term? Third term. You are not performing, you say third term. You are here presenting a budget, and beneath it is a third term agenda where you are going to spend money for the third term. We are watching you with eagle eyes. Third term, focus on 24-hour economy. You promise one job, 3 shifts. You promise industrialization. Ghanaian businesses have lost confidence in you. You cancel the 1D, 1F, which was creating opportunity for the private sector. In its place, no policy alternative. Electricity tariffs have gone up over almost 30%. Then you get up, you say you are promoting 24-hour economy. You have sacked public sector workers. Many of the Ghanaian youth lost their jobs. You sacked them. Today you are here. Instead of promising to restore into their rightful places in the job market, you are not doing so. Then you come, you say we should praise you. Who is going to praise you? Pay. And you are holding the money. And then you are there, tightening belt and only paying your party members. Then we should praise you. We are not interested in the books. We are interested in the economy in our pockets. People are suffering, Mr. Speaker. People need jobs. Your youth, even your MPs, they are praising you here. A lot of them are hungry. Your backbenchers, they can't go back home. Your backbenchers. And you hear, you say we should praise you. We will not praise you. It is the same old story. Mrs. Sain. Mrs. Sain. Again. Mr. Speaker, I rest my case.
Mr. Speaker, let me, on behalf of the House, thank the Finance Minister for presenting a mid-year review of the budget, which this House approved and authorized him to execute. And Mr. Speaker, I must say that the Finance Minister has given a very good account of himself. Mr. Speaker, just to correct the records, there is no inconsistency between what the Finance Minister said and what his deputy mentioned some time ago. His deputy mentioned that he had given a release of 1.1 billion, 1.6 billion. Today, the Finance Minister reported that he has given 1.1 billion to the Ministry of Agriculture and
that is payment.
And this report is that it was presented live on national television. Everybody was watching and they saw the figures projected. So if the minority leader engages in a slip of tongue it is important for me to I just thought I should correct that. I know that he did not benefit from going to Fufulsu Primary School. So his mathematics might not be as good as Honorable Jinapo's mathematics. When you add 551 to 1.1, you get 1.6. So the finance minister and his deputy presented an accurate figure. But Mr. Speaker, we were in this country, in this parliament, and there was a finance minister who told us that he could not run this economy without taxing our Momo transfers. That he could not run this economy without taxing our Momo transfers. A finance minister who could not run the economy without going for debts. Today, we have a finance minister who has abolished all those taxes, and yet he is successfully managing our economy. We have a finance minister who is not borrowing recklessly, but is successfully managing our economy. That is why I said that this finance minister has clearly given a good account of himself. Mr. Speaker, Ghanaians are struggling, working day and night to fix the economy. Like the minister has indicated, ordinary Ghanaians are making sacrifices. Where is the man who put us in the debt? Where is Ken Oforiatta? After borrowing recklessly, creating the debts, he has gone and he is hiding in the United States of America. We must bring Ken Oforiatta back. Ken Oforiatta should be brought back to come and account to the good people of Ghana why he so grossly mismanaged our finances and left ordinary Ghanaians to struggle and fix the economy whilst he enjoys in the United States of America. And this is a man who was presented by the NPP as a finance minister. And the same people are telling Ghanaians that they should be brought back to power. So that you do what with power? You will bring Ken Oforiatta back and he will come and be building cathedrals. Mr. Speaker, this media report clearly indicates that the cathedral project is not ongoing. Mr. Speaker, what is ongoing is the construction of new schools. What is ongoing is the improvement of existing schools. What is ongoing is the improvement of the quality of schools. This media report shows that what is ongoing is the construction of roads, the construction of bridges never seen in the history of Ghana before. Mr. Speaker, this finance minister has indeed given a good account of himself. And that is why this House must commend him highly. Mr. Speaker, clearly, under this finance minister, Ghana is working again. Mr. Speaker,
This budget is uninspiring, Minority Leader. This budget proves that Ghana is working, Majority Leader. Very interesting coming from both sides of the divide on the budget, mid-year budget review that the Finance Minister presented on 23rd July 2026. There's just a lot that you can glean from what the Finance Minister presented. My takeaway was the sinking fund. The Finance Minister talked about a sinking fund. I'm very much interested in that. He says that government has built a 15.6 billion Ghana cedi sinking fund to prepare for an estimated 111 billion Ghana cedi debt repayments peak in the next 2 years. And so in this way, it's going to be a 58 billion Ghana cedi and 53 billion Ghana cedi payment in 2027 and 2028 respectively. But there's just a lot to unpack out of this budget review that was presented yesterday by the Finance Minister. Joining me today for conversations, NDC Communications team member Ibrahim Ali, who is with me here in studio, and Bande Yusuf, NPP Communications team member. Bande will be joining us via Zoom. It's unfortunate he was unable to make it here. We'll have the conversation with him via Zoom. And at some point during the conversation, we'll also have Dr. Hayford Ayrakwa, who is an economist, weighing on a few issues briefly. And then hopefully also get a political scientist, Nanajiman Prempel, to speak on the Wontumi issue. So today our conversation is going to be Wontumi and the mid-year budget review, so effectively the economy. Ibrahim, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
It's been a while since you were here.
Oh,
Thank you so much for making the time.
Thank you very much. Of course, we are quite busy. We are building Ghana. Almost all the communicators in the NDC are actually working.
Okay.
They are having sleepless nights because.
Why sleepless nights?
No, of course the economy was damaged. Everything was actually beyond repair, and it was important. It is important. Let me put it that way. As we have actually restored power to help the president do everything possible within our capacity to help him succeed, and it's the more reason why the economic indicators, as compared to the previous administration when they were leaving office, the difference is very huge. So sometimes we will want to beg you to forgive us. It's not all the time that we can be here to debate. Sometimes we have to go to the grounds and also help with the better Ghana agenda.
Okay. Well, let me start with the budget, the media budget review as presented by the Finance Minister in Parliament yesterday. What was your takeaway from the presentation?
Thank you very much. Let me just say a very good morning to our cherished viewers across Ghana and those who are following on all social media platforms. Let me say good morning to them. To be very honest with you, I think that Ghana is actually working again. That's what I can say for now, because the budget presentation by the Finance Minister actually exposed the elsewhere Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo led, the Bawumia-led administration. It actually sent a signal that they were given the mantle of leadership just to come and wait it's time for 8 good years. The details of the budget, if you have read the entire budget, should tell you that Ghana is actually on the track to sustainable economic development. And so in all, I will give the Finance Minister 96% for a very good work done. All the areas he touched, I'm sure we'll go into the details, were very excellent. But what is very striking is the comparison of the state of the economy when Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was leaving office somewhere ending 2024, and as we have also taken over with this media budget. My sister, let me send you back to somewhere around when Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo term was over and then he was leaving office. At the end of 2024, our headline inflation remember, was somewhere around 23.8%. That is when they were leaving office. But don't even also forget, but it got to a time that inflation was hovering over 50%, getting to 60%. But I just want to focus on when Akufo-Addo administration and Dr. Bawumia, the head of the economic management team at the time, when they were leaving office, inflation was around 23.8%. But when the finance minister went to our parliament to present the budget, he made us understand that inflation currently is around 5.3%. So obviously it should tell you that when it comes to prudent management of the economy in terms of inflation, this government has done so well. I mean, if you are to rate, maybe you can give them 1,000% for managing.
1,000%.
But of course, okay. I mean, you took something from 23.8% and you have been able to manage it to get single digits. I mean, if you are to do the calculation, every performance is like 5. You get it? So 5 times 4, that's about 2,000%. So it should tell you that the government is actually doing very well. I just want to expose the noise the minority was actually making in parliament. They refused to listen to the budget. When the finance minister was reading the budget, I don't know whether, they were sleeping. Because the minority leader was supposed to talk specifically the issue, raise serious questions that he didn't understand, that the finance minister actually spelled about. It ended up beating about the bush, talking about unnecessary things that was not supposed to be said, saying that the country is moving in the wrong, direction. But I'm telling you today,
the country is moving in the wrong direction. Don't you think that it is prudent that he also mentions it?
So my sister, you as an objective journalist, we took an inflation somewhere around 23.8%. Today, inflation is around 5.3%. Do you describe this economy as an economy going in the wrong direction? You certainly wouldn't do that. Not only that. When we actually took Akufo-Addo was leaving office, real GDP growth was around 4.7%. As of today, it is around 6.4%, exceeding 4.8% full year targets. So it means that we are working. The economy gradually is growing. Let's forget about the minority. You are right, and talk about the specific. Looking at the debt to GDP, ratio. When Akufo-Addo administration, they were leaving office, it was around 61.8%. That was unthinkable. That as a government with several ministers who are being paid with taxpayers' money, you should, be able to, GDP should be around 61.8%. Today, as I'm talking to you, my sister, GDP, debt to GDP ratio is around 45.0%. That is a sharp drop, meeting target ahead of schedule.
The minority, even before this media budget would be presented, have raised several concerns, where they say that government is not being truthful with the figures that they are giving. Even yesterday, minority says that there's a certain over projection for government when it comes to some of the figures they mentioned.
So what are the figures they are putting out?
They raised concerns ahead of the budget reading about how how government was dealing with our forex, was dealing with the CD against the forex. They believe that government was hedging all of that on our reserves, for which it will hurt the economy even further. And so for them, their concerns have been building up for a while now. They say that, and yesterday you'd hear the minority leader say that government is refusing to take counsel from they who have just managed the economy and are leaving. So these are some of the concerns that they raise.
You see, when these people raise such concerns, it actually, indirectly means that they are insulting, the entire Ghanaians in this country. These concerns you have just highlighted, they are raising. Are they saying that we should learn from them? So, if you were able to manage the economy in a better way, that is supposed to be managed. Why did Ghana at a point, why were we buying, dollar for over 17 Ghana cedis? Not even take the average, somewhere around 15, 14 there about when they were leaving office. You, the so-called experts, you, the so-called renowned vice president who was the head of the economic management team, you took inflation to almost 60%. You, touting yourself as excellent managers of the economy, and so we should learn from you. For Christ's sake. So when they come and say these things, obviously, Ghanaians should be angry.
So there's nothing to learn from the NPP.
What can we learn from them? I still tell me, maybe I don't know. The entire 8 years we gave them, what exactly can we learn from them? Educate me. Because I've not seen even one thing we can even learn from them. They were burdening Ghanaians with huge taxes. Emission tax, e-levy, betting tax, nuisance taxes. Ghanaians complained, Ghanaians wept. They were killing businesses because of these huge taxes. The finance minister was in parliament yesterday. The minority, majority, they were all there. He briefed parliament. Did you hear of any new tax? Did you hear of the reintroduction of, the betting tax, the electronic levy, our own money in our wallet? You were taxing these monies left, right, middle, right, center. As if you were taxing these monies to go and use them for something meaningful. You were taking these monies for the impoverished ordinary Ghanaians just to go and dig a hole. Several millions of dollars into that hole. Today, the National Cathedral has become, a burden wasting space in Ghana here. What do they take us for Christ's sake? When they talk, do they listen to themselves? When they talk, you see, they have no moral right. When it comes to proper economic management, the minority, they have no space at all. I simply don't get it. Sometimes when I listen to them, I feel like, I become so angry to the extent that, I don't know. If the very day I will meet the micro minority leader, what is his name? The leader, what's his name?
I don't know the minority leader's name.
Well, I don't know. Afenyo Markins. You see, if I was in parliament, my sister, in the House of Parliament, I was at the plenary, with these, things he was spewing out there in the House of Parliament, I, Ibrahim Ali, would have been bold enough to go inside the parliament, the plenary, and actually shut him up. That look, what you are saying, for Christ's sake, you are insulting the intelligence of the ordinary Ghanaian citizens. What were you able to do? You were not able to manage inflation. You were not able to manage exchange rate. You took unemployment from 8.4%. When you were living off it, it was around 15%. You were not able to create jobs, sustainable jobs. The only job you were able to create for, Ghanaians was NAPCO. And even with that, at the time you were paying them 700 Ghana cedis. That's money, 700 Ghana cedis, you couldn't even pay. It took, the intervention of this government to actually pay all arrears. So if I say your governor, the entire government was useless, I don't think I can be taken out of context. So they shouldn't have entertained, the minority leader to have spewed all these rubbish there in parliament. I was so angry to the extent that I have to switch off my television listening to Afenyo Markins saying all these things. What do you take Ghanaians for? What exactly do you take the ordinary Ghanaians for? Claiming that you are the better managers of the economy? You think we are dumb? You think we don't reason? For Christ's sake, if we are not economic experts or gurus, for basic economics, we know. We know that when you were in office, we were buying oil almost 1,500 Ghana cedis. Today, we're just a little over 400 and something. Oh,
which oil?
The bigger, you know, the how many liters?
Cooking oil, you mean?
Cooking oil.
Okay.
50 million. Today, we just 300 and something. It was getting the same quantity of oil. You were not able to manage the economy the way Ghanaians expected it to be upon all the brain you claim you had at the time in the NPP. And you have the guts, the moral authority to come and stand parliament and be, you know, spin out certain things that were not supposed to be spilled out. My sister, so if we actually follow them, we will end up wasting time. Let's actually look at what this government is actually doing. I mean, since we came to office, have you heard this government borrowing excessively? Left, right, middle, center. See, instead of borrowing, we have been able to reduce borrowing because of the prudent management of the economy. The exchange rate alone, differentials, has actually reduced our, you know, debt to quite substantial level. Aside the prudent management of the economy and ensuring that we reduce borrowing, and they also say we don't spend. You heard that, or you didn't? The micro man, the Afenyo market also said we don't spend, isn't it? It's not one of the arguments that we don't spend, and that is why the CD dollar ratio appears stabilized, because we are not spending. You see, this government is spending prudently. We are spending what we have in our pockets. We are not overspending recklessly. I mean, you are impoverished, you can't even pay at the time teachers, nurses, doctors. They were on strike, right, middle, center, but you had money from taxpayers' coffers to go and build a whole, the so-called National Cathedral. This government, every city, we will actually take from national coffers, will account for it. Every kobo we will take from our national coffers will account for it. And so they should go and sleep. They should just find somewhere and go and sleep. Okay. They have no space as it stands now with, you know, our governance architecture in this country. I've always told them that, look, if you want to succeed in this, your party, and then make sure things, I mean, it's good one of them is down. I mean, he was nuisance in the party and causing a whole lot of troubles for the party. I mean, it's good that he had been given somewhere to cool off. But the next person they should consider actually, you know, kicking him out and showing him some, you know, it's not about me. He's not serious. Excuse me for using this word. I mean, how can you call yourself economic wizard?
But how is Dr. Baumia in this conversation?
Was it not the one who was leading the economy?
At this point, you are even talking about this budget.
I'm telling you that they are telling us that they are the better managers of the economy. Okay. And if we have any lesson to learn, we should come and consult them. And I'm telling you that their head of economic management team is the current vice, flag bearer of their party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He's clueless. He has nothing. He knows nothing about the economy. Okay. So if Dr. Bawumia is their head, the one they were all looking at for is not performing, doesn't know left, right, middle, center in the economy, then can we talk about the Afenyo market? What does he know?
Well, Ibrahim Ali, thank you. I'll come back to you. But joining us also on the line is Nana Agyemang-Prempeh, who is a political analyst. Good morning, Nana. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, my dear sister.
Yes. Nana Agyemang, yesterday the finance minister presented the mid-year budget review. From where you sit as a political analyst, what is your reading into the finance minister's presentation, and how does it boost confidence in government?
Okay, first of all, let me say thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. This is a big platform. Greetings to the production team and my comrade brother who is in there with you. And greetings to your cherished viewers. Okay, so yes, mid-year budget review as is captured in Section 28 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921. It is a mandate to the finance minister to give a review of the budget that he presented in most cases every November before the financial year or before a new financial year. Yes, in most cases, the trajectory has always been more or less like a supplementary budget. Maybe in the year, the financial year, or that in most cases, maybe November, the finance minister will go and plead with Parliament that they should approve maybe 3 billion to spend. But in the course of the year, the finance minister will go and also plead with Parliament to add some amount of money to it. But this one was different. What I saw, frankly speaking, let me also issue the disclaimer that I'm not a financial expert, but we observe it in a political way. So you also ask yourself, did the finance minister ask for new budget or additional budget? Per what we saw yesterday, it wasn't the case. And in most cases, to finance ministers who come and introduce new taxes, this one, the situation wasn't like that. I mean, the only thing I saw was the reforms in the customs, reforms in the free zones, and those things to widen the tax in these sectors. I think it was good that the finance minister did not ask for new taxes, did not ask for a supplementary budget. But in most cases, you also ask yourself that is it a stopgap measure or something that is in the long term? Yes, it is always interesting that politicians, when in opposition, we say that inflation is and a single digit inflation, are we going to eat it? The metrics that you are talking about, are we going to eat it? But when they are in power, then they also rely on these things. I mean, but that is the beauty of our democracy. I believe that yesterday's presentation was good, and apart from that too, it was a bit of relief by not asking for new supplementary budget, by not asking for Ghanaians to pay additional taxes or new taxes, something that would have been very, very disastrous at this point. But I must say that it was good. But in most cases, you ask yourself that is it a stopgap measure or something that is going to have the long-term sustainability measures. So that is where we should also draw the conclusion.
Well, on this matter of the budget, obviously, these things about perception, optics matter because it sets the tone for how the people also appreciate the government and the work that the government is doing.
Yeah.
Really, you say the finance minister did not come and ask for a supplementary budget. He did not introduce any new taxes, and this is a good way. Does it become a call for the people to rally behind the more government?
It's too early, politics, according to Harold Laswell, is who gets what, when, and how. You see, this is politics. Yes, when it comes to the financial metrics on those things, it's too early for you to rally behind. But definitely, we have to support the government. I was happy that there are certain things that I was expecting that he mentioned, like the Kumasi-Accra Expressway. Some amount of money has been allocated. Something that is good that we need to rally. But it's too early. Politicians can tell you that we are not introducing new taxes, but at the end of the day, they will find a way to, they have several ways of also killing a cat. So that is where we should be very scared, in believing everything that they tell us. But it shouldn't also be that we should not rally behind the policies. I must say that it was more positive, but as I earlier indicated, it's too early because politicians, 1 + 1 to them may not be 2, as you know. So that is what I can say for now.
The minority raises questions. They say that the budget is an uninspiring one. That is quite a definite stance to take, that this budget is uninspiring, especially coming from the fact that the minister did not mention any new taxes that would be introduced, does not ask for any supplementary budget to help with the work that it is doing. And so for also the optics of the minority, do they come off as a minority that just will not find anything good to do with the government and what the government does?
Definitely. I mean, that has always been the case. You know, the minority leader is carrying the vision and also the values of his caucus, and for that matter, his political party. And for that matter, you don't expect him to say any good thing about the budget. That has always been the convention in the chamber, where you always see the minority opposing everything the government introduces, because you need to score political points. So I wasn't surprised that Honorable Afenyomark can, opposed or tried to downplay what the finance minister presented yesterday. He's someone that I admire, but there are some of the things that he said yesterday that I wish maybe he could have avoided it, because yesterday was purely economic, or let me say presentation, but he was talking about all these things. I think these things could have been avoided, but definitely don't expect the minority leader or the minority caucus to shower praises on the government, especially in the second year of the government. In most cases, if it is a new government first year, there are certain things that they may agree with you, but just 2 years or 1.5 to the election, you don't expect the minority. And I know next year will be worse than even this year. The agitation will be more, because definitely it's all about election. That is why they are also there to also defend their party values and also what they believe in. So you don't expect the minority to say anything better than what he said yesterday.
Okay. Well, let me come back to studio and go to Ibrahim Ali. Ibrahim, we'll move away from the budget and look at Wontumi, because it's part of our conversation today. Minority leader raised it also in Parliament. It was quite interesting that when the debates happened, both minority and majority were decided to bring in other conversations even beyond the budget. But Chairman Wontumi, the Ashanti Regional Chair of the NPP, his arrest, for some it is justice, for others it is persecution. The NPP says that your party, the NDC, is just doubling in persecuting the opposition to silence them.
Maybe Ghanaians entirely would judge that, especially Ghanaians in the Ashanti region, like I am, who was very close to some boys of Wontumi that I knew, and some of us know, the source of wealth of Chairman Wontumi. I say that without fear, because if I'm called to actually prove that in any competent court of jurisdiction, I will be able to prove that the so-called wealth Wontumi has amassed is the proceed from Galamsey activities. And so you have heard of serious kidney issues. We've been hearing almost every day, dialysis and all those stuff. It's because of the water we have been drinking. I mean, the water that have been polluted by these Galamseyers is end up in our various homes, and then we start drinking. At the end of the day, we start dying, kidney issues and all that. Do you know the number of people who have lost their lives as a result of these kidney and then liver issues and all that? So I always say that even though I sympathize with the 20 years Wontumi actually had, I think that it was not deterrent enough. The judgment should have been very scarier. I mean, it should have been so deterrent. 20 years, I think, is not enough for Chairman Wontumi. Oh, life imprisonment would have been better.
For
the highest, he was actually imprisoned he was pronounced guilty and was given the highest sentence, which is 25 years. But the judge actually listened to the lawyers and actually decided to do something about it, being a first-time offender and all that. That's 20 years. I think that we have to look at we have to take a second look at the law. So that it's good. And let me even commend Nana Danko Akufo-Addo for actually repealing, that law. Because earlier the highest sentence will have been somewhere around 5 years. The lowest being 3 years. I mean, when they came to office, they thought that NDC people were into Galamsey and wanted to repeal the law so that they can get a lot of NDC guys in. And so the law was repealed and the minimum was now shifted from 3 to 15 years and a maximum from 5 to 25 years. I think that President Mahama should make it more deterrent in that if the person is guilty, totally guilty, and actually merit the higher sentence, it should be life imprisonment to send a very serious message to those who are adamant and are not listening to advice. When you go to our various water bodies, it's serious. So people are dying on daily basis. So I mean, why are they, saying that this is? This is justice for the ordinary people in this country. One to me was on live television, on several occasions to claim that he has money. He was dishing out gold, counting the number of cars. Personally, in the Ashanti region, one to me houses that I personally know is around 90 different houses from different locations. Not ordinary houses, posh houses. In total, the number of houses one to me is actually having in the Ashanti region alone is about 250 different houses. The number of houses, Ashanti region alone, in Greater Accra here, you can't count. The number of flashy cars one to me is having, not a single type of car that one to me don't have. Several cars running into 500 and over. What work does he do? Is he the only person who is into mining in this country? So President Danko Akufo-Addo allowed Wontumi to misbehave, and it appears he was the commander-in-chief in the Ashanti region or the Galamsey site. He was the one who was spearheading the activities, and those boys he gave the land to, and then made Ghanaians to believe that the land was given for, was it coconut, production or so. Those guys, I know them. Those guys he gave the land to are his boys. And they were working for him at the Galamsey side. So when you read the full judgment and you go into the details, you'll be upset that Wontumi was just handed over 20 years. Have you read the judgment? The entire judgment. It was serious. If you read the details and do the calculations and all that, you'll be upset, totally upset with the loss of Ghana. For the judge, we can't blame the judge. Of course, we can't blame the judge. She was actually working strictly according to, the rules or the game, the sentence. It was very clear. The law was clear. She couldn't have done anything about it, either to reduce or to increase, beyond the 25 years limit. I want to call His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama that if you want to deal with this issue head on, if you want to fight it to make it more serious, more deterrent and scarier enough, then I think that the higher sentence of a Galamseya, should be somewhere around, life imprisonment. And Wontumi's case, new evidence are popping up. It wasn't about these forests that he had been actually prosecuted for. There are other forests that some of us.
This case is specifically about the summer.
And I'm saying that there are other, reserve areas that he was doing this.
But wouldn't that be captured as a separate case?
That will be captured as a separate case. So I want the president to quickly amend the law. We have the numbers in parliament. We can quickly do something and then, raise the center to life imprisonment. So that when we present our fresh evidence and then he is found guilty, instead of going 20 years, he will just go and spend the rest of his life at Insawam.
With your stance,
yes.
Doesn't it lend credence to what the NPP is saying that it is just a targeting of Chairman Wontumi?
Why should we target
Chairman
Wontumi?
You do not like Chairman Wontumi because
because
there are
of what?
concerns that have been raised that your organizer and your vice
Joseph
chair
Yamin.
And your vice chair, the attorney general
but Joseph Yamin has come out that look, I have personally reported myself to Yoko to investigate me and then make the results of the investigation public. President Mahama is not shielding anyone. No. He has already served notice that when you are in the NDC or when you are in government and you engage yourself in Galamsey, counting him out, he will deal with you, allow the law to deal with you ruthlessly. So this is not about, NDC, this is not about NPP. Since Chairman Wontumi was actually jailed, look at the environment. I mean, how do you see it? More than 80% of Ghanaians support that, including NPP members. It's just some few selfish people who are getting 1 cedi, 2 cedi from the proceeds of the Galamsey money that are actually, crying. A typical example of Ashanti Regional, communication officer of the party, my good friend Paul Yando, was weeping on television that Wontumi, he's going for election, going for a party secretary region. And Wontumi actually promised that he will actually fund his campaign. He's the one, complaining. And so some few others, like, Afenyo Markins, who have been getting some of the Galamsey money and all that. So please, let us
are these things that you'd be able to speak to when you say that Afenyo Markin is getting...
Well, let me withdraw and apologize. But Ghanaians who know this can actually judge from what I'm actually saying. You see?
Let me hold you for a moment and go back. I mentioned that we'll speak with Dr. Hayford Ayerakwa on the matter of the budget that was read, the mid-year budget review that was presented by the Minister of Finance. Dr. Hayford Ayerakwa is the development economist at the University of Ghana and also the Director of Research and Administration at the Africa Policy Lens. Good morning, Doc. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, and thank you for having.
Doc, what is your assessment of the mid-year budget review that was presented in Parliament?
Well, so thank you very much. Listening and reading through the presentation from the Finance Minister, a number of things come up. There are the obvious headline numbers that we need to acknowledge, and we will need to look at how we have fared. Definitely, it is true that GDP growth has strengthened. It is also true that inflation has fallen dramatically from what I would say from the crisis levels. It is also true that the city has stabilized largely and fiscal discipline has improved largely. And according to the minister, investor confidence has also improved. And he sought to tout or make the argument that this, we can say, has led to transformation. But we need to clarify that macroeconomic stabilization is a necessary condition for transformation, but it is not a sufficient condition. We can only say an economy has transformed only when households like you and I, firms and workers experience sustained improvements within productivity, within their income levels, and increased opportunities. Now, from different works that have been done prior to the reading of this budget, and if you should take your cameras to the streets and to the marketplaces, you would hear generally comments and concerns that real wages still is lagging behind inflation, employment growth is not keeping pace with GDP growth. You would hear things like informal sector incomes remain stagnant, small businesses still face high borrowing costs, even though we say that the reference rate has gone down. Housing, transport, and food costs still continue to take large shares or large proportion of household income. And sadly, inequality continue to widen. And so the question I would ask myself is that, yes, growth is great. Growth will report the averages, but it also conceals unequal distribution. The question I will be asking, for example, is that if the economy is growing, are rural households, for example, better off? Are the youth finding jobs? Can we say that SMEs are accessing cheaper credits? Can we say that women entrepreneurs are experiencing greater opportunities? Can we also say that poverty has declined? Now, you engage market folks and they will tell you straight away that, yes, in some instances, prices of goods imported goods have fallen. At the same time, purchasing power has declined, and so people are not buying. So to what end if your prices are falling and yet the demand is not there? And that for me is a true measure of whether or not there has been transformation or otherwise. Now, I would look at a number of things as somebody whose research focuses on household well-being. The GDP growth or macro indicators are very important, and it is truly so as reported. But I'll also be interested in issues around household indicators. What is the household real income looking at? What is the household purchasing power looking like? What is the employment situation of young people? And for your information, employment of youth, that is those 24 years and below, who are generally those who have just come out of tertiary institutions, and has rather increased over the same period that we are touting that things have gone up. So yes, things have gone up, but businesses also are having issues. Cost of finance is increasing. The cost of energy has gone up. Now look at just yesterday, the very day that the budget review was being done, prices of fuel at the pump were increased. Now, for those of us who use diesel, we have to pay over 17 cedis per liter. And in some of the other private, this is at well. If you have to go to other private operators, you pay a little more. And so, can we say that this growth that we are touting has actually improved? Now, the minister is touting, for example, issues around the tax revenue and have even out.
Let me hold you before we go to the tax revenue. You talk about the fact that all of these macroeconomic indicators are showing or are good. However, we do not see it settle in with us at the local level, especially at the rural level. But then again, isn't it also good that the macro indicators will show a positive sign? Because it would be disastrous if the indicators were declining or were on a negative angle, and then the rural or the average Ghanaian is also unable to afford certain things. If the indicators are positive, does it not give us an indication that very soon the tide will turn around for the effect of these positive indicators to trickle down to the very basic level?
If you remember my introduction comment, I said macroeconomic indicators is a necessary thing, but it's not sufficient.
Okay.
So you need the macro indicators to first stabilize, and then you aim at the sufficient condition. How does this translate into the micro indicators? That is the household, individual, firms, etc. And we should be interested in knowing what is driving the growth in the macro indicators. Now, one, if you look at a basic financial accounting, how we calculate GDP, the government expenditure is a major component of that. Now, from the presentation, the minister is admitting that the government has underspent what it anticipated that it was going to spend.
Okay.
And this has direct impact on how much money government is releasing onto the system for individual, for money to be in a system. Now, the Bank of Ghana has been at the point of mobilizing what it calls excess liquidity. And as long as the Bank of Ghana continues to do this, and government also restraining itself in spending where it has even gotten approval to spend, then that is a problem. So you cannot withhold spending just because you want to control the indicators to champion a certain narrative. Now again, I ask the question, what is driving this growth? Now you go into the system and you realize that if we can say that we have indeed transformed our economy, I'll be interested in knowing how has manufacturing expanded.
Okay.
What is the situation when it comes to agricultural productivity? Has it risen or is the same?
So, Doc, As a development economist yourself, what would be your expectations of what government should be doing in addition to these macroeconomic indicators that are going up or are showing positive signs to ensure that, as a regular Ghanaian myself, I feel the tangibility of the gains that government says it is chalking?
Absolutely. So what I would think, and that's what I was driving at, what is driving the headline numbers is not what would bring the impact we are expecting.
Okay.
So if mining, for example, is driving your numbers because global prices of gold have soared to all-time high, and so you are getting gold whether from legal or illegal sources to get the financing, the forex you need to pump to stabilize your city and to show that your city is stable. If you are getting these monies and because of that you are able to get a city to stabilize, and import becomes cheaper because your city has appreciated, and so import is cheaper, this is not a sustainable way. I would think that government must be interested in knowing where the economy derives its most jobs from. And you can't take that from the agricultural value chain. Because even though it is currently the least contributor to the GDP, it is also the most employer, the leading employer of your labor force. And so I would expect governments to be very intentional in investing some of these returns, this process, in agriculture and agriculture-related activities.
Okay.
Otherwise, what we are doing to ourselves is just waiting. If gold prices should crash today, I can say without any doubt that Ghana would be worse off than we took it up. I just want to sound a caution that what we are observing today, we've been there many times in the past. Not too far away, just about 7 years ago, 2019, Ghana was the fastest growing economy in the whole world. And we saw similar numbers, and we're so proud and we're happy. We had similar narratives. But today, it just took one global situation to push us on our knees. We don't want to go back there, and that is why we'll caution the minister to be very careful how it touts that we are already out of. What I would say we've recovered, or we are recovering, but we cannot say we have transformed at this point.
You can't say we have transformed at this point. But Ghanaians say that it's great to note that in this mid-year budget, the minister does not come with new taxes. Indeed, government had mentioned that they would rather want to relieve the burden of taxes of Ghanaians. Second, there's no request for a supplementary budget to add up to what they already requested or they've already had for the beginning of the year. And how do you feel about that?
Well, so I feel okay, and I feel very disappointed too. You see, normally, the needs of Ghanaians are endless, and one budget cannot address all of that. Now, government cannot come and ask for more space to spend, because even what we had approved for you to spend, you have done less than what we asked you. So if, as a business, I gave you a certain amount of money based on your budget, and you go and cannot spend that money, when you are coming to give me a mid-year review of what you are supposed to do, you cannot ask me for more money, because even the one I have assigned to you, you have not been able to expend it. So you need to first expend that before you have the locals to come and say you are asking for more. Secondly, you can only come back and ask for more when you have demonstrated that, yes, I said in my projection I was going to raise X amount of cities. When I went, as a result of my efficiency and hard work, I have been able to raise X plus 2. And so I'm asking for space to spend maybe plus 1 or the plus 2. That way, you have a reason to ask. But if you have fallen short of your own revenue targets, and at the same time, you have fallen short of your own expenditure, then you don't have any basis to ask for more. And so if the minister doesn't ask for more, I don't see that to be financial prudence. It is, if you ask me, it is rather maybe, I would say, inefficiency.
But look, this spending issue, if government says it's being prudent, the minority does not believe government is being prudent. They just think that government is just being miserly at this point, deciding to starve the nation, starve ministries of certain monies they should get because they want to present a certain facade or a certain face to the Ghanaian people. But should we not agree or appreciate that government said it is being prudent? We will spend as little as we can to do the maximum work.
I am looking forward to a government that is transformational in mind. And transformational would not happen with averages. I was expecting, for example, that yes, we have been able to spend the things we say we will spend and still kept all these beautiful numbers. I would have clapped for the government. But you don't withhold what you are supposed to spend. So what you are doing basically is starving, and I agree with those schools of thought that say that 20% that you have not been able to spend, that is somebody's transformation that you haven't been able to send to the person. And so you are denying that constituent or that group of people the opportunity, the healthcare infrastructure that they could have enjoyed as a result of, in your name, being prudent. You are denying somebody access to healthcare, access to education, access to good infrastructure, and that is not efficiency. I would think that government must be able to think beyond the some of these things and be a bit more daring, be a bit more transformational. Because government, for example, I don't know what flagship program this current government is pursuing, because that would have been for me the yardstick that I would use to measure that, oh, this government is really being transformational. But if all you are doing is doing the normal, every government is expected to build roads, and no government can finish building all the roads in this country within a particular tenure. Every government will build classrooms. Every government will build hospitals. We expect that government would introduce transformational policies. And I think what I expected is a lot of emphasis on the 24-hour economy, which I think is transformational. But it looks to me that the focus of this current administration is not really on the 24-hour economy. Well, I believe that if we should put our investment and resources, we can actually cause some transformation. But at the moment, 24-hour economy is become 24-hour markets, which I hold a different view. I may be wrong, but I hold a different view that I live in Adenta, for example. I am surrounded by two important markets. The Adenta community market is sitting there, and I have Medina market, the almighty Medina market. Not far from Medina, we have the Dome market. These are major market points. And then you come and tell me you are building a 24-hour market in Adenta. I ask myself, what exactly is going to motivate me to go in the middle of the night to say I'm going to Adenta to buy something or to transact in this new 25? So for me, the priority is misplaced. And what can actually be transformational is not given the necessary attention. And that is a concern for me and many other like-minded people like myself.
All right, Doc. Thank you so much for your time this morning. We're most grateful.
Thank you for the time.
Dr. Hayford Ayora is a development economist at the University of Ghana and the Director of Research and Administration for the Africa Policy Lens. He says that, well, all of these macroeconomic indicators are great, but we should see a direct correlation with our lives at the very local level, at the very rural area. We should feel a direct correlation. We're talking about the Wuntumi matter before Doc came in. Nanajiman Prempe, are you still with me, sir? Hello, Nanajiman.
I'm still with you, but I'm monitoring everything.
All right. Well,
you are doing well, by the way.
Oh, thank you. So sorry for keeping you so much on the line.
No worries,
Ibrahim has spoken on the Wound to Me case. Let me come to you and get your opinion on the matter. For some, the Wound to Me matter is a matter of justice, and we should see it as that. For others, it is just persecution, and Wound to Me becomes the biggest scapegoat that can be used at this point. What do you make of the whole issue?
Okay, once again, thank you very much, and let me also issue the disclaimer that this is more legal, but definitely there is political aspect of it. You know, in Ghana, everything that we do, even in MP that we play, there's politics to it. I don't know when you were a kid, you used to play MP, but that's just by the way. Yes, if someone concludes that the Untumi's, court issue is a political persecution or is like a scapegoat, those who understand the law will tell you that yes, it went through the normal legal jurisprudence. The competent court of this thing handled the case, and they also applied the law. So it would be difficult for you to say that they are just persecuting him because of political reasons. Definitely there will be political lenses to it. You cannot take that one away. But the mining laws were clear. I think in 2006 under Kufuor, we had the mining law, and later on Kufuor in 2019 under his regime, amended it. Initially, it was maximum of 5 years, and I think that is what the judge complied with. But definitely, you wouldn't. The opposition, there's no way that you arrest a opposition member and they will say that it was free and fair or it was fair. Definitely wouldn't hear those things. But definitely it went through the normal legal jurisprudence. I'm not a legal person, but where I was also expecting the judge or the process to also have included is, in criminal proceedings or procedure, definitely accomplice, all of them should face the law. But I was surprised that those alleged accomplices at this point, can you even say the alleged, the Henry Nkum and the other Matthew Yaisi or whoever, these people were not, jailed because maybe they accepted to be the prosecution witness. That is where I don't understand. Ideally, they are all supposed to face the law. They are all supposed to be jailed if they were found culpable. But here is the case. Untumi was the only one that was jailed. That is where the politicians will draw the line that, okay, because Untumi is a known figure in MPP, not just a member of MPP, someone who is very outspoken, someone who is very vociferous and those things. And so this is where I was expecting that at least all of them should face the law, because in criminal proceedings, those who understand criminal proceedings will understand that or let you know that if all of them were found culpable, if all of them were found that they were in these illicit practices, definitely all of them should face the law, rather than jailing maybe one out of the three people who were engaged in the, if not the same years in the prison. Definitely they should have also faced the law. That is where I don't understand. But definitely the Attorney General.
Hello, Nana Jiman Prempe. I think we seem to have lost Nana Jiman on the line. We'll establish contact with him and so
he's a politician.
Okay,
so
Nana, we lost you for a minute. You were saying that you would have expected that the other people involved in the case be also be also sentenced like Wontumi. But we understand that those some persons took a plea deal, which was different from Wontumi. But beyond that, Nana Jiman, what does this also mean for both political parties? There's the political chess that is being played in here. The governing party, that is the NDC, tells us that it is what it is. It's not really persecution. The NPP is also selling a message that this is pure persecution. On those two fronts, what does or what do their comments inure for them? Will it benefit them going on? Because we know that for any political party, it is about the next election. And so what will this conviction do for both parties?
Okay, so first of all, let me say that in most cases, the ruling party, yes, forget about what the judge did. What the judge did is something that is in the law. In fact, you see, sometimes people say, oh, this judge is and this is never the case. You know, I know lawyers who always tell me that no judge in this country has ever ruled that did not apply the law. Definitely, sometimes they may also err. I mean, it's part, they are human beings. But definitely, even in them in making mistakes, definitely they even apply the law. I mean, that is the practice. Sometimes the ruling party does this to also destabilize the opposition, try to weaken the opposition. But in the long run, it even boost the base of the opposition, because this is where the opposition will come together to find a common cause. So at this point, it is even energizing the opposition rather than destabilizing them. I mean, but my problem is that, yes, if they are able to do this, some people are also asking that, could they have done same thing if it were to be a member of this ruling government? I mean, that is where many people are, drawing the conclusion that, okay, is it because it is Untumi? Now, some people are even saying that, okay, so now you've jailed Untumi. Has Galamsey stopped? Has it come to an end? I mean, I think on your show, you've been discussing Galamsey. Yes, Untumi has been jailed. Does it end there? That is the question. So, yes, it is going to energize the opposition more than even ever, because now you can see that they are more united to find a common to fight a common cause than maybe before Untumi was jailed. So that is the political capital out of this. But definitely, we are also looking at ways, if a member of this government, a member of this party now ruling, is also found culpable, is the government going to put in the same effort that they used to get Untumi jailed? I mean, that is where I am also looking at this point.
Well, let me come back to Ali. We have just a few minutes, and so I'll give both of you the opportunity to give your final remarks on the conversation. Ali.
Well, I think with Dr. Hayford, what I think he spoke very well. I was quite impressed.
You want to go back on that?
Oh, yes, just a second. What he has to note is that Ghana's next strategic phase, after stabilizing the economy with all the good economic indicators, is on an aggressive job creation, structural economic transformation, and long-term resilience and other, So, I mean, we can't do all this. When you are sick, sometimes it takes time to be healed. You get it. So you don't expect to get the results just at once. Before we took over, all these indicators were bad. So we are starting from there. So by all means, we'll get to where he's pointing to. But on the Untumi matter, I think some are happy within their party that Untumi is in jail, while some are jubilating.
Oh, you think so?
Untumi was going for an election, and you can recall before he was jailed, he was actually lambasting the party general secretary.
And isn't that normal for any political
party? He was lambasting that he was actually against his candidacy because of certain directive, he had issues and all that. So, I mean, the general secretary came out with a press conference and made it appear as if he was sympathizing with Untumi, but deep inside him, he was actually very happy. And then, oh yes, that one you cannot. So they come out and then pretend as if they are united, but deep inside the party, there are a whole lot of issues. So wrapping up on his matter, I think it's about time as a country we go beyond these NPP, NDC politics. My sister, if an NDC person is caught in similar acts doing Galamsey and the law is actually to deal with him, I will actually encourage, prosecution, fair trial to go on. Because if you don't do this and we keep on, doing politics with this Galamsey problem, it will kill all of us, from this country. So today, Wontumi has been jailed. It will surprise you to know that a lot of people in government are alert. A lot of loyalty to the NDC are terrified that, look, if Wontumi has been jailed, we as NDC, we are not going to remain in office forever. Definitely, I mean, maybe if other 20, 30, 40 years time, we'll go to opposition. So remember that whatever you do here today as a party in government, when the next administration comes, which is a different political party, they will also do everything possible to also ensure that you are in prison. So make sure that whatever you do, whether you are in government, outside government, within the party, make sure you do things right. Don't go and do anything untoward. Listen to the directive from the president who had said that don't do galamsey. If you don't listen to that and you go and do that, and even if, as they are saying, we cannot prosecute one of our own, remember, the next administration will come and prosecute you. And that is how it should be. That is how it should be. If anybody faults in this administration and he or she is shielded because we are in government, I think that the next administration that will come should prosecute the person. You get it? And vice versa. When it happens this way, then the people of Ghana are the ones that are, in the long run, going to benefit.
The people of Ghana are the ones. You know, what we expect is actually that nobody will shield anybody, regardless of where you stand on the political divide. All that we need is for the laws to work.
Of course, for us, we are not shielding anyone, but they are alleging, throwing out allegations that there are some people in our party doing galamsey and all that. They should bring the evidence. The matter will go to court. Okay. But so far as I know for now, I've not seen any person in the NDC who is actively engaging himself or herself in galamsey.
All right. Nana Jiman, let me pick your final thoughts on the conversation.
Okay, thank you very much. I think my brother has spoken well, in the last topic, that even if you are a member of this party and you believe that, or you feel like, okay, your party is in power, you can engage in these things and you'll be shielded. Even if you are being shielded, the new party or the new government can, get you prosecuted. So I think that is a profound statement. One thing I can say is that we should let the state institutions work. Because in most cases, it has always been like, okay, they are under the pocket of the politicians, and now they are being controlled by like remote control. That is not the best way to go. We should allow the state institutions to work so that there will be efficiency. But at this point, the opposition, they are lamenting because they believe that the state institutions are not independent, and it is being done according to the whims and the caprices of the government. That is not the best way to go. But I believe that we should let the state institutions.
Well, I think we've lost Nanajiman, but Nanajiman has basically said what he was saying. We should let the state institutions
work independently, and we are going to have the yeah.
Okay, Nanajiman, thank you so much for your time this morning. We're most grateful.
Yeah, I'm very, very grateful for giving me the opportunity.
All right, and Ibrahim, thank you so much for joining me this morning. But before you go, let me read my comments, and then I'll be closing with you today, Ibrahim.
Sure.
This is a comment from KMA Mayor Ba, 2 p.m. Asante Mampo. He says, today Ghanaians are truly feeling the impact of the change we voted for, except the NPP, who are thinking about their political party, but not the development of Ghana. Let us support His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for the better Ghana we all want. NPP Egu because of the mid-year budget. Greetings to Honorable Eric Opoku, the Agric Minister and Chairman. Maintain Nana Kwesi Augustus. Okay. KMA Mayoba, thank you for your comments. Teacher Kujo Tepenine also says, at all force in your statements may convince those who are unfamiliar with what your statement, beg your pardon, technology has decided that it won't let me read my comments, but let me go back. Teacher Kujo Tepenine also says, at all force in your statements may convince those who are unfamiliar with what an economy on its knees actually looks like. An economy that is truly on its knees cannot consistently pay cocoa farmers, teachers, and other public sector workers. It cannot record a trade surplus. It cannot increase Ghana's gold reserves for about 8 tons, the level maintained since independence, to 32.5 tons within 8 years. It also cannot sustain the free SHS program for 8 consecutive years. These facts may not mean the economy was without challenges, but they do not cast a doubt on the claim that it was completely on its knees. And he sends greetings to Asanteman Koka JFK and Nana B. These are the comments on Facebook. I'll take a quick break. When I return, we'll do some happy hour and then we will be out of here. Please stay with me.
The culture never chills, and neither do we. Viral moments, breaking stories, new drops, exclusive interviews, spotlight artists shaping the sound right now, and our African Star of the Week taking over timelines. Then it's straight to the top 10, the songs running the streets, owning your playlist and living rent-free in your head. No skips, just hits, pure vibes. This is the Rundown, your ultimate destination for everything entertainment.
Some things never change. Trends come and go, but in your cooking, you still choose a tomato mix you trust. Because real quality never changes. Thick, red, rich. Gino truly cares. This advert is FDA approved.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted granules. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available, strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Baby, we are second. So you remember to need an advert. Let's why so by your advert no you
Do you need a media house to shoot quality TV ad for your company or product? Bring your company's vision to life.
And you make media house we are potential films. So you must don't worry. So open to you a course you true advert there. Contact woman.
We help businesses build their brands.
Quality can so many
reach their target audience and ultimately drive sales and revenue growth.
Perfect. Contact a good script about your product. Sound, jet. They'll give you quality pictures. How do you see it? How do you feel it? Wow. So put your young on Makasa. First number way 0541 16 28 28. I'm repeating 0541 16 28 28. Call them. Number more do I say.
You're still watching ABC in the morning live here on ABC News GH. As we wrap up, let's do some birthday wishes. And this is a happy birthday to Harriet Fako Ajay. Happy glorious birthday, Mommy. And this is from ICGC Bema Hills Assembly. Actually, it is a happy birthday in advance. Tomorrow is your birthday, 25th July. Celebrating our mommy on this special day, the leadership and entire membership of Bema Hills Assembly, ICGC, joined together to celebrate you. We thank God for your life. Happy glorious birthday, mommy. Your unwavering faith and devotion to God inspires countless hearts. You lead with grace, serve with love, and strengthen the church family through wisdom and compassion. May this new year overflow with peace, joy, and divine favor as God renews your strength and encourages your spirit. We love you, Mommy. And this is from the entire ICGC Bema Hills Assembly to Harriet Fako Ajay. Happy birthday in advance to you. God richly bless you. And I want to send a special happy birthday in advance to my sister, ABENA Mante, who celebrates her birthday tomorrow. I'll be from myself, from Mame, from Daddy, Mommy, and the entire family, all your cousins, all your aunts and uncles. We say a happy birthday to you. God bless you Flower girl, as we all call you. God bless you and bless you and bless you. Hopefully one day I too will be able to bake a cake for you, as you always do for me on my birthdays. But a happy birthday to you, Albie. I pray that you increase at all levels, you increase in every way, and you enjoy the blessings that only come from God. Happy birthday in advance to you, Albie. We love you so, so much. And that's how I wrap up today's show. Thank you to you for joining me on the show, my viewers, my texters. There's no ABC in the morning without you. I thank you so much for making the time with me. Thank you to Ibrahim Ali, to Nana Jiman Prempe, and to Dr. Hefodayirakwa for joining us for our conversations today, and to the production and technical team for putting together today's show. Most grateful to you. It's a weekend. Let's take the time to celebrate with our family, with our friends, with our loved ones. Let's take the weekend easy, relax, and come back Monday very healed, hearty, and very strong. I wish you well. I remind you to keep your head up, to keep hope and faith alive, and not to relent in your pursuit of happiness. I am ABENA MANTE. I wish you the very best of your Friday and your weekend. Enjoy.